Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Testament of Sherlock Holmes, Episode 1. This is the next game in the series, and from what I've heard, it's one of the best ones. I know critically, I think it's rated the highest by critics, so I'm really interested to get on into this. Is there an, oh, okay, cool. Set. Let's go right into it.
Yeehaw! Oh.
It's an odd little intro. That's, isn't that Sherlock's top hat?
La la la. Ow! Ah!
Fucking hate
What's
these
this?
kids.
No. Bow bow. Boop boop. La la la.
What the hell is happening here?
Ah! Ooh. Oh, look! It's a book! Maybe it's a book about pirates with a treasure map. No, I don't think so.
I think that was a reference to The Awakened.
I wish that I had
Perhaps.
seen through all your lies. Oh, start from the beginning, not the middle. And so I decided to pick up my pen to relate the most disturbing episode of my life thus far.
It all began early one morning in 1898 when Sherlock Holmes invited me to accompany him on a visit to the Marquis of Conyngham.
Marquis Watson. There he is. My boy in 4K. I don't think this is 4K, but
Watson,
it came
my
out in
dear fellow,
2012.
we can now go and inform the Marquis that we have found the Samoan necklace, and very much faster than Inspector Baines, too, which pleases me.
Have you really solved the theft, Holmes? And so quickly?
I have indeed, Watson, and believe me, it was completely unnecessary to spread out all over London, as our friend Baines thought was best. He likes to boast that his methods are equal to mine, but once again the outcome has contradicted him.
After all these years of accompanying you upon your investigations, I thought that by now I should be reasonably capable of following your train of thought. But in this particular case, I must admit that I don't understand anything at all.
Ah, you see, but you do not observe, Watson. There lies the difference. It is a matter of course.
A matter of course, in the middle of the night, when everyone is fast asleep, the service bell within that room rings out and alerts the servants. They dress quickly and come running, but the door is locked and there is a strong smell of burning from within. A few seconds later, the master of the house himself, the robbed Marchioness's husband, the Marquis of Conyngham, arrives and unlocks the door using the sole key. A fire has started inside the room, but they have managed to arrive in time to put it out. It is at that moment that the Marquis realizes that the famous Samoan necklace, which had been safe within its glass cabinet only a few hours earlier, has now disappeared.
In order to explain, let us confirm my theory before the arrival of Inspector Baines.
Okay. So here I am. This brings up... Okay, we got different menus here.
This
All right.
window was cut with a diamond. A clean, discreet piece of work. This is where the necklace was.
See how tiny the hole is, and not one fingerprint upon the window.
Okay, cool. Oh, okay, alright. So alright. I can run. How fun. What am I supposed to interact with?
This window.
See how...
What clues? What? Wait, what? I'm a little confused. Hold on. Controls. Yeah, that's okay. Um. What does it want me to do?
This window was cut.
See how...
Look at both clues now. What clues? Excuse me? Oh, okay. Is this right? I don't quite understand. I have looked all around, right? Alrighty. There's a dialogue. There's the pocket knife.
This window.
See how...
This window was cut.
See how tiny the hole...
What? To enter examination mode with multi-zone. That's just the... That's just the...
All the windows are locked. They've not been forced.
There we go. Um. Oh my God, is that it?
A
Jesus.
mark, undoubtedly made by a diamond. Someone tried to cut the glass, but he was interrupted.
Therefore, the thief tried to escape through the window, but he was interrupted.
Okay, so I use it. I wonder why I didn't see any of that.
Let us examine the crumpled scores that have fallen off the piano. These sooty prints were left by a tiny hand.
Oh,
Not very well kept, this aquarium. I can see a dead fish floating on the surface.
oh,
All the windows are locked. They've not been forced. These
I
documents are not
see.
very interesting, even though they're addressed to the Minister of Maritime Affairs.
The Marquis himself. Footprints. You are not going to get on your knees to examine them.
There is no need. It is soot. The servants must have trodden in it while they were putting out the fire. Heading towards his chosen escape route, probably the window, the thief knocked over the stool, which then caught fire.
But why didn't he try to put the fire out at once?
Strange. There are some objects here that have been knocked over.
The fire started here, just beneath the bell pull.
Whoever pulled the cord would have had his feet in the fire, unless it was pulled before the fire started. The chest wasn't opened. The necklace wasn't in it.
All right.
When the servants arrived at the door, having been alerted by the bell, they saw evidence of the theft and the fire, but they didn't see the thief.
This door is very hard to force. The Marquis is the only person to have the key. The thief could not get out through here until eventually, when the door was opened by the servants.
This draft screen makes an ideal hiding place.
As the theft was committed at night, I conclude that the thief hid himself behind the draft screen and waited until he was alone in the room.
I kind of don't like this sixth sense mechanic.
Strange. There aren't any prints. Yet I'm sure that the thief hid here.
At the same time, I could see it having been rather useful in the older games.
All the windows are locked. They've not been forced.
What do you think, Holmes?
Let us search the room before the police get here. We might throw some light onto all this. A candle. It must have fallen from the chandelier.
Ah, Mr. Holmes, you're already here.
Good morning, Inspector. You've arrived just in time.
Scotland Yard arrives like the cavalry, always in the nick of time. Ah, but I know that satisfied expression, Mr. Holmes. Have you already solved the case?
It's possible.
We have retraced the thief's rather unusual footsteps. He is a true acrobat. But what I cannot understand is that when the servants entered the room, There was no one to be seen. An acrobat, perhaps, but an invisible one? I do not think so.
The only explanation is that the thief escaped before the servants arrived. I don't know how, but there is no other way.
Half a point for the doctor, nil for the inspector.
I am pleased to see that you find the situation amusing, Mr. Holmes. Very well then, explain.
Dr. Watson was correct when he mentioned acrobatics, but he is mistaken about the nature of the acrobat. As for you, Baines, you're quite incorrect, as the thief was in the room when the servants entered.
Explain, for heaven's sake, Mr. Holmes.
Watson, how could a thief be missed in the middle of 8 men?
I don't know. Because he is very small? Stop teasing us, Holmes.
Exactly, because he is small. Small and remarkably agile.
You're thinking of a monkey?
And a trained monkey at that, without a doubt, a Leontopithecus rosalia from Central America. The animal had been hidden inside the room for several hours, calmly
Gives me
awaiting
Edgar
the
Allan
signal
Poe
from his
vibes.
master. Once night had fallen and the room was empty, a high-frequency whistle alerted the monkey that it was time to begin the procedure for which he had been trained. The monkey emerged from his hiding place and used the point of a diamond to open the glass cabinet and steal the necklace. He headed across to the window by the chimney, but knocked over the stool, which in turn knocked aside the fire guard and started the fire. The frightened monkey jumped from the chimney by swinging from the bell pull, thus alerting the house servants. He then went to the window and began to use his diamond to cut a hole, but was interrupted by the staff trying to gain entry via the door, and he panicked again. He ran across the piano, scattering the music scores onto the floor, before hiding inside the chandelier, knocking over a candle. Finally, the servants and the Marquis entered the room, leaving the door open while they put out the fire. It was during the confusion that our agile little thief made his escape through the doorway. As simple as that.
A brilliant explanation. Bravo, Holmes.
And the necklace?
I can see it from here, my friends. It's right in front of us.
We have searched the room from top to bottom, Holmes. How were we unable to find it?
Because we paid insufficient attention to the only victim of this affair.
What victim? No one is dead?
It's
Yes,
fish dead.
Watson, a poor goldfish whose destiny was to die, crushed by one of the most precious necklaces in England.
The aquarium is just beneath the chandelier. I understand.
The little monkey had likely hung the necklace around its neck and lost it when he leapt from the chandelier. The jewels fell into the aquarium, where they remain now.
Won't you look at that?
Marquis, here is your necklace, intact, just a little wet.
Mr. Holmes, this brilliant demonstration does credit to your reputation.
Thank you so much, Marquis. Do you wish to verify the authenticity of your jewel?
No, I recognize it. I have spent many hours admiring it, you know.
Good. I will return it to its box, and
Inspector, a bank has just been held up. You must follow me at once. Orders of Scotland Yard.
What times?
Sirs, duty calls. My regards, Marquis. And well done again, Mr. Holmes.
there, the necklace is in its box. We've lost enough time here. Let's go home, Watson.
Ah, very well, as you wish. A good day to you, Marquis.
With pleasure, gentlemen. And once again, thank you.
All right. Let's see the apartment.
This morning's newspaper. Holmes, have you read this article about you?
No, Watson, not yet, and I won't have time to.
Read it before you leave. It's outrageous.
If you insist.
Sherlock Holmes at the home of the Marquis of Conyngham The investigation is a fiasco. Yesterday, the celebrated detective Sherlock Holmes was invited to the manor of Marquis of Conyngham to supply his conclusions. Following his investigation into the disappearance of the priceless Samoan necklace, it should be recalled that the lady called in the detective after the police appeared flummoxed in the face of astonishing circumstances surrounding the theft. Indeed, the valuable piece of jewelry disappeared while the door in the room was displayed and locked. The alarm was raised by the servants, alerted by the room's service bell ringing out during the night. When the Marquis, the only person in possession of the key, opened the door, everyone rushed to extinguish fire start before it was noticed that the necklace had mysteriously vanished. The most astonishing factor is that no thief was found within the room, and all the exits were closed. As usual, Mr. Holmes solved the case in the twinkling of an eye, and the jewel was recovered. I will not waste my time on the various explanations of the disappearance, because I would prefer you to draw your attention, readers, to the less surprising developments in the case. Following the departure of Sherlock Holmes, who placed the necklace in the safe himself, the Marquis noticed that the jewel was nothing but a poor copy of the original. Let it not be forgotten that the Samoan necklace, although plain and without ornament, is unique because of the rarity of its pearls. Pearls which are found only in a small part of the lagoon of the archipelago of the same name, and to which scientists attribute their exceptional quality and the strong density of crystal aragonite, and they're made of. The priceless necklace, oh my god, brought here from the beginning of the century by Lord Finton Norwich, the Marquis's grandfather, an eminent explorer, should have been part of her daughter's dowry for her marriage to the Duke of Newcastle. So I'm going to place a simple question. Should we not in all open-mindedness ask ourselves if the necklace was not simply and deliberately exchanged for a fake by Mr. Holmes himself? I'm aware, dear readers, that the brutality of this question, without any preconceptions, may certainly shock some of you, but the facts are, and our thoughts and judgments should not be confused with the regard which we all share for the famous detective. It is not the first time that the Globe Explorer has expressed its reservations as to Sherlock Holmes' methods. Do not forget our counter-investigation in the escape of Arsène Lupin. Oh shit. The Frenchman who took malign pleasure in tarnishing the image of a royal family and who, by lucky chance, managed to elude capture by Mr. Holmes. At the time, we did not hesitate to consider a tacit complicity on the part of the latter. For those who are familiar with Mr. Holmes, it is quite apparent that his character traits show more of the opportunist and brilliant usurper than the altruistic defender of the law. I would draw the attention of our readers to the suggestion that the description of the gentleman provided by his friend Dr. John Watson through his stories is a long way from the truth. Oh my god. Indeed, his behavior is derisive, contemptuous, haughty, and offensive towards the police, in particular Inspector Baines, replacing Inspector Lestrade, who is currently convalescent, and an habitual abuser of narcotics such as heroin and cocaine. This is why, dear readers, it's important to disregard Sherlock Holmes' good reputation in order to form an objective opinion and to ask the pertinent questions. Oh shit. And to ask the pertinent questions. Was the necklace that Holmes found already a fake? If that was the case, why did he not mention it, and why should he insist on placing it back in the safe himself? Has the detective someone say very interested in this affair? Is it a simple case of deceit in order to steal the extraordinary Samoan necklace? It's up to you, dear readers, to form your own opinions, but you can count upon your humble servant to continue revealing to the public the doubtful methods and motivations of the one in the future. I should not hesitate to call Sherlock Holmes the usurper. To be continued, O. Farley. The Ancestry Lords Committee set up in order to legitimacy. Okay.
Prince Woodville, French culinary expert and bagpipe player, might be our next king. That's not so shocking, my dear fellow.
You know exactly to which article I'm referring, Holmes. How can Farley dare to tarnish your reputation like that?
You know, Watson, that wherever glory walks, jealousy is bound to follow. As for the forgery of the necklace, I suspect that we shall soon be enlightened in this regard. Come in, Inspector Baines, the door's open.
Ah, Mr. Holmes. How did you know I was here?
You are one of our rare visitors who avoids the second-to-last step of the stairs, which creaks dreadfully. And if I add the clinking of the handcuffs at your belt, to what do we owe the pleasure of your visit, Inspector?
Have you read that rag?
Inspector, I assume that you have the fake necklace with you. It's why you're here. Your superiors would like me to examine it.
Indeed. They would like you to confirm or deny putting this fake in the box.
Can't that wait? I must go to the house of Lord Peregrine Maitland, the Bishop of Knightsbridge.
Inspector, can you explain this slander? Has the necklace of the Samoas really been replaced by a fake?
I don't know how the reporter got hold of the information, but it's true. About the necklace, of course. I wouldn't permit myself to question the integrity and honesty of Mr. Holmes.
The necklace is a forgery? Impossible! I saw the Marquis authenticated before my very eyes, before Holmes returned it to its place.
Mr. Holmes, the Marquis believes Osmond Farley's theory. I shouldn't be surprised if the reporter isn't behind all this slander about you. He's a freelancer, well known for his explosive and subjective articles. In any case, the Marquis assures us that you were the last person to have the necklace in your hands.
Let's return to the Marquis's house, Holmes. I'm sure that we'll have no trouble in taking apart this theory.
It is unnecessary. Such allegations collapse on their own, like one of Mrs. Hudson's soufflés. Let us leave the police to solve this problem and turn our attention to the matters in hand.
Perhaps you are right, Holmes.
And the Marchioness?
She is beside herself. Without the necklace, her marriage is compromised. It is the principal item of the young woman's dowry.
What a lovely marriage. Holmes, forgive me for insisting, but don't you want to examine the fake jewelry?
Watson, I have an appointment, and it's out of the question that I arrive late.
It will only take you a couple of minutes. You really must quell the suspicions put forward in this appalling article. If you will allow me, Inspector?
Be my guest.
Very well.
What?
This pearl...
Oh.
This pearl is a different color. These 3 pearls are of poor quality. This pearl is too small. It is not in its place here. Too many defects. This necklace is a fake. This is nothing but a vulgar copy, and at a glance it would appear that the forger has intended for it to be seen as such.
How could we have been fooled by such a blatant imitation? I don't understand.
Yes, how is it possible? Holmes, do you have a theory about this?
I have absolutely no idea. You insisted that I examine the necklace, and I have done so. Now it is important that I keep my appointment. I'm sure, Inspector, that you will throw some light on this affair.
Holmes.
You may accompany me, Watson, if you care to do so.
Goodbye, gentlemen. I'll keep you informed as to my inquiries.
Goodbye, Inspector. You mentioned a bishop, didn't you? Are we going to his home?
Yes, the Bishop of Knightsbridge. I put his address on our map of London on my desk. Would you get it for me, please?
All right, Holmes. The work table, where Holmes analyzes things.
Oh yeah, we can do this.
Holmes's homemade analyzer.
Ah, we don't get to talk about the dancing men. Seems to be not much that we can talk about.
And this is how my dear friend and colleague treats his clients' letters. General practitioner? That won't be of any use to me. Female anatomy? I should put this book somewhere else. Hospitals and dispensaries in London. The harpoon that was used to kill Black Peter. A horrible murder.
Still no news on that blunderbuss up there. In older games I thought it was a rifle, but now you can see pretty clearly it's a blunderbuss.
Here is where I write my stories about Holmes's cases. And I've got work to do. I have found your map.
Alrighty. Oh, he kinda looks badass in that fucking coat there.
The police? Already? How did you know?
May we see the Bishop of Knightsbridge?
Yes. Yes, of course. But come in.
What has happened, Reverend?
What?
I don't know. It was last night, I think. I only just arrived, and I have made this macabre discovery. My God, how horrible. haven't called anyone. How did you know that?
Holmes, look!
The bishop, appallingly mutilated.
How dreadful.
Mutilated. And killed. He was such a good man. How could anyone be so brutal? Look at him. He is barely recognizable now. How could any of God's children be responsible for that?
They were evidently unworthy children, Reverend. Now do please try to calm yourself and focus, because we will need your assistance. Do you have any idea as to the motive behind this?
I haven't had time to do an inventory, but nothing appears to have been stolen. And anyway, His Excellency didn't own anything of great value. I don't know what else I can tell you.
Note this down, please, Doctor.
Doctor? But you aren't the police?
No, Reverend. I am Sherlock Holmes, and this is Dr. Watson. We are here at the request of the bishop.
In that case, I must ask you to leave, and not to touch anything. I must get in touch with the authorities without further delay.
Reverend, when the inspectors of Scotland Yard find themselves at a dead end, which they quite often do, I assure you, then they turn to me for help. If you will allow us to continue our investigation, then you shall have the answers to all of your questions.
Out of the question! I don't even know you! I'm going to call the police, whether you like it or not.
It would be better for everyone, Reverend, if you kept your temper. Watson, are you taking notes? This affair promises to be a complex one. Therefore, we must not overlook the slightest detail.
Yes, Holmes. I am keeping a meticulous set of notes. I have created a very clever deduction board. One thing we can be sure of at the moment is that this crime was not for gain. The Reverend has informed us that nothing valuable was stolen, and indeed, it would seem that the bishop had nothing of any worth to take.
Very good, Watson. Do continue.
Okay, cool.
A bottle of whiskey. I can make out fingerprints stained with blood and dirt.
A broken bottle of whiskey. However, the Bishop of Knightsbridge was known for his sobriety. It would seem that the brutes who tortured the bishop to death were intoxicated with alcohol.
There is blood on this paperweight.
Reminds me of a Ripper murder.
The fingers have been crushed and violently struck. The fingers have been crushed and violently struck.
His stomach is covered in scratches. Quite evidently, they weren't made recently.
So, these wounds were not made by his murderers. His forearms have been ripped. Pieces of skin have been torn off. What do you think, Watson?
I'd say that he was eaten alive. Yet I've noticed a curious degeneration of the skin tissue around the wounds.
There's evidently more
You
to
can
see
see
there.
by his expression that he suffered terribly.
His mouth is covered in blood, and I can make out strips of skin between his teeth. My dear friend, everything points to this man having gnawed at his own forearms.
That's unbelievable, Holmes. His chest has been lacerated, I would say, with a very sharp and fine blade.
Alright, so I'm done up there.
A piece of rope that was used to tie up that poor man.
Alright.
These burns are terrible. A finger. Apparently it doesn't belong to the Bishop of Knightsbridge.
How dreadful. His feet have been burned.
My first impression is that he wears a size 9 shoe.
You? But what does it matter, Holmes? This poor man was tied just below the knees.
To stop him from walking, certainly, but mostly to free his feet.
My God, Holmes, this man was horribly tortured.
Something is missing here.
Oh, yes? And what might that be?
His shoes. Watson, his shoes are missing. This stove is filled to overflowing. A broken phial and blood near the neck.
What a strange smell. Phew, chemical components, I think.
This metal rod is for fastening the chilies.
It's very
It's a
interesting.
cilice designed to bruise the
You pronounce it
person
2 different
wearing it.
ways.
The bishop wore it as repentance.
A whip?
No, it is a discipline for self-flagellation. This very pious man must have had the habit of mortifying his flesh as a means of repentance. Impossible to open it. I need something. These traces reveal that the thieves tried to open this chest. I need something. Reverend, I'm missing something, an implement with which to open this chest. Could you tell me where to find it?
No, go to the devil.
What are you afraid of, Reverend? What is inside the chest?
I'm not afraid of anything. In fact, I do have the necessary implements, but if I have to give them to anyone, it will be to a representative of the law and no one else.
The picture of Peregrine Maitland, commander of the infantry brigade of Her Majesty's Guards at Waterloo.
The Bishop of Knightsbridge has the same name as his ancestor, an illustrious family.
Sorry, guys.
A surgical scalpel covered in blood. There isn't any doubt. The wounds on the bishop were administered with this scalpel.
Alright.
I cannot leave now.
You have no right to search here.
Watch where you're putting your feet, Watson. Have you noticed these prints upon the ground?
Well, yes, those muddy marks.
See here, Watson. Footprints can often provide more vital information than the very best of informants.
Yes, if you know how to make them talk, that is.
It's child's play, Watson. We will begin by excluding the contaminating prints, which are yours and mine from where we came in, and those of our dear Reverend who was so impatient to call the police.
Alright, how many criminals were there?
Size 9. Size 9. Size 9.5. Size 9. Size 9. Size 9.5. This print came from an expensive pair of shoes, and it seems recent. It is not a laborer's shoe. This print, hobnail boots like those worn by laborers. Hobnail boots like those worn by laborers. Hobnail, a fragment of stone. Peculiar. Well-worn shoes with an odd pattern on the soles. Hobnail boot.
I think there were 3 crooks
Well-worn
in
shoes
total.
with an odd pattern on the soles. Perfect. We now know that there were 3 crooks. Strange but true. One of the crooks was wearing a different pair of shoes when he left here. Therefore, we have 3 men who came in and left again, but one of them was wearing a different pair of shoes from the ones which he came in with.
So, all we have to do is look for a workman who likes Italian shoes.
I cannot...
Interesting.
This door has not been forced. Where does it lead, Reverend?
To His Excellency's room. There is just a mattress and a stool.
Bam, bam, okay.
The bishop's bedroom. It is very austere. Nothing in particular here.
Alright then.
Closed. The veranda door hasn't been forced. Strange. Reverend, might I have the key?
No! You have no authority here. Let me call the police.
Perhaps we should listen to him, Holmes.
Perhaps you should let me get on with this, Watson. Let us look at our...
Alrighty, the bishop's shoes were missing. One of the murders left in different shoes. One of the murders left wearing the bishop's shoes. I'm gonna say the murders are poor. The veranda wasn't searched. And they were looking for something specific. They were hired by someone, I think. Yes! Cool. Chest. Murders were unable to open the safe. The victim was savagely tortured. The bishop was mortifying himself. He was used to the pain. He was mortifying himself, I think. They didn't come here to kill him, I don't think. Maybe...
Perfect.
Oh, okay.
It is evident that the Bishop of Knightsbridge's killers were after something specific, and that they did not find it. Reverend, I shall ask you one more time. Open the chest. The item they were seeking must still be inside. It is unlikely that they will let this matter rest. They will most certainly return to finish what they started.
And I'm telling you once more, the chest is locked and shall remain so.
Very well. We have reached an impasse. You are a stubborn man, Reverend. Watson, accompany our friend to the police station and return with Inspector Baines. Baines and no one else. I shall wait for you here. Go. Alone at last. Now I can continue my investigation.
Alrighty.
I am missing... This lock should be easy to pick. Let's see.
I see.
I need something. This lock should... That's not right. Start again. That's not right.
What the fuck?
That's not right. That's not right. Start again.
What does it want me to do? Oh wait, okay, I see. Oh, okay, okay.
There we are. It is simplicity itself.
I don't know exactly how that works, but yeah, it's
There isn't
simplicity
anything
itself.
much in this room. It must be used as a reading or meditation room. This inkwell was tipped over recently.
He was writing something recently.
An ink stain, quite fresh. This stain is just on the edge of the rug. Let's see. There is nothing on the floor, yet the ink must have soaked through the rug. An ink stain. The ink stain on the floor comes from the ink on the rug, but they are not in the same place. Someone has moved the rug recently. That is curious. There is something strange on the floor. Certain stones have been marked out, just like a chessboard. That is curious. There is something strange on the floor. I need something. I need. That 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 I need.
Okay.
There is nothing.
Oh.
That I need something.
Maybe it's like...
Impossible to open it.
I was gonna say it probably had something to do with this, but this isn't a
need
chessboard.
Impossible.
It's not a chessboard because it would be like the squares don't line up like a chessboard should, basically. Yeah, there's only 7 instead of 8.
That I need.
Oh, hey there.
Apparently, someone wanted to hide this statue. This horse resembles a large chess piece. There is a message underneath this statue. Let's see.
The lack of imagination. Use your passion for chess. The last square on which the knight will place himself after having covered all the others will be the right one.
This message was written by a woman, but for whom was it intended? Interesting, this chess game.
Bam. 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 Oh, covering all this. Okay, I see, I see.
That's not right. Start again.
Okay. Oh no.
That's not.
Yeah. I'm kind of fucked when I get there.
That's not...
Yeah. What if I like... Bam, 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 bam. Like, just go around in circles like this. Maybe something fun will happen. Oh shit, okay.
That's not...
Let's go here. 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 And we've got to go here. And here. Here. Oh, I think I fucked up already. We'll see. No, because I can still go here, and oh yeah, no, I fucked up.
That's not...
Hmm.
That's not right. That's not...
Yeah, no. What would...
This last piece should be the good one. It will have to be pulled free.
Okay, so I'm... Oh, could I have
need
done that all
something.
along?
I need...
Oh, I see. 24th April, my love, what a beautiful spring and what a marvelous day, our dear youngest child's birthday. Every moment is so precious as a child blossoms, without a doubt he will soon be talking. I'm sure that his first words will be for you. He misses you so much, as do I. Are you sure that you cannot get away on Sundays after Vespers? I thought that 14th September. My darling, I know that I'm assistant, but we must absolutely legitimize our union. We cannot live this in all our lives. 3rd March. Rest assured, my dear, that I understand your position is not easy. But have you thought about ours and the child's and mine? And I cannot allow our children's future to be compromised. Think about it, my love. What is the so-called scandal next to the well-being of your family? We must become husband and wife legally to finally form a real
A
family.
packet of letters addressed to the Reverend. They were written by a woman who mentions his illegitimate children. Their affair isn't official. Perfect. I have you now, my wayward Reverend. Ah, Watson, you were gone a terribly long time, and Inspector Baines isn't with you.
I'm afraid not, Holmes. We were unable to find him.
Dr. Watson would not allow me to contact any inspector other than this Baines. What manners! I am a man of the church.
My dear Reverend, I notice that you are a chess lover. I trust you will excuse me, but I am never able to resist the appeal of a half-finished game.
You are an expert at chess. Very well then. What do you want now?
As you might have guessed, resolving your small chess problem has allowed me to discover some very interesting letters.
Letters? What do they say?
Reverend, why hide these letters here and run the risk of the bishop finding them?
Holmes, what's in the letters?
Not now, Watson.
Where else could I have hidden them? My own chambers are too austere. They could offer no cover. I knew, however, that His Excellency, may he rest in peace, would not notice my game.
The contents of the Bishop of Knightsbridge's chest interest me greatly. Give me the elements you hold, Reverend.
Out of the question.
With the bishop no more, you are therefore the apostolic director of the diocese, are you not?
Well, yes, but only until someone else is appointed.
I am certain that the Honourable Bishop of York, whom I have the privilege of knowing well enough for him to listen to what I have to say, would recognize your qualities for the post.
If I receive new responsibilities, it will be through my faith and devotion, nothing else.
I am a gentleman, and it would distress me to be obliged to pass this correspondence across to your superiors.
Holmes, I know that the end justifies the means, but allow me to express some reservations about how you are proceeding.
You say you're a gentleman, but I hear nothing but the words of a blackmailer. The stems that you are looking for are scattered about this room. Manage by yourself. You have no right to search here.
Oh, could I not take that third option? What the? Oh.
Impossible to open it.
You have no right.
What was that? Hold on. Dialogues. What the fuck? Oh. Okay, I guess there's many just hidden throughout.
I cannot leave now. This stone.
What do you think, Holmes?
There we go. 2 sticks from the table.
You have won.
Evidently, as I always do. What are you able to tell us about the Bishop of Knightsbridge's last days? Did anyone come to visit him? Did he seem worried, anxious? Do not omit the smallest detail.
His nephew came to see him yesterday at His Excellency's request. I found this visit a little peculiar because the young man rarely visits his uncle.
Do you know why that might be? Were they on bad terms?
I don't think so. It's rather a consequence of his work. The young man is employed within the archive section of the Royal Library, which doesn't leave him with a lot of free time.
Do you know the reason for his summons?
No, but the conversation was very heated. It only lasted for a few minutes and ended with the nephew in a terrible rage.
Interesting.
I've answered your questions. Will you now let me contact the authorities?
I'm afraid not, Reverend. Not just yet. All right, now we can open the safe.
Alright. So we can... So we can open the safe somehow.
Impossible to open it.
Um. Oh, shit. Oh my god. Uh, um, ah! Okay,
Now I can open the chest.
thank fuck.
Here we are. I am eager to discover what remarkable treasure could justify such an act of barbarity.
Extraordinary.
This chest is impenetrable. How is it possible? No one other than the bishop should be able to open it.
You open the chest with disconcerting ease, Holmes.
I've seen and heard quite enough. This time you won't stop me.
Catch him, Watson.
What the? But why?
Run, Watson. Hurry.
He's escaped. I hope that your motivations are founded, Holmes. I don't much like skirting around the edges of the law like this.
It is annoying. Let's leave without delay.
What have you found in the chest, Holmes? What in there is so precious for these men to commit such terrible acts?
The Reverend was telling the truth. Nothing important was locked inside the chest, apart from a few religious items which are hardly worth stealing.
So, we haven't made any headway. Perhaps the police will.
By the time the police arrive, we shall be a long way from here, Watson. We are leaving.
Oh. It seems to save quite often, without my consent. Baker Street. Let me quickly, okay.
We have crossed London at a breakneck speed. We could have knocked someone over, and naturally I had to pay the cabbie out of my own pocket.
Watson, stop complaining. We have to analyze the clues found at the bishop's house.
Okay.
I haven't finished my analysis. I can't do that. I can't do that. Tooth marks, rather deep ones. I'd say of incisors and a canine. Fragments of skin, a phalanx. Fragments of skin, a phalanx. This finger wasn't cut off, it was ripped off. Tooth marks. Black and damp earth under the nail. Interesting. I can't do that. Tooth mark. Fragment.
Bite marks on this severed finger. I am afraid of the significance.
The thieves didn't get what they wanted. When they were faced with the bishop's refusal to cooperate, one of the gang shook his finger at him to indicate that he was responsible for his unfortunate state.
And the poor man, whose head was the only part of him not bound by ropes, bit the finger violently enough to sever it. An uncommonly savage act.
Watson, I am certain that when we have explained the reasons behind this sudden bestiality, we will have revealed a larger part of the mystery. I can't do that. There is something written on this scalpel. I should clean it. I can't do that.
Oh, I can't. Okay.
Ah, I can make out WCCH. What do the initials stand for? How many hospitals are there in the Whitechapel area, Watson?
If we count public dispensaries, enough to keep us busy for an entire month. Did this scalpel come from a hospital?
Yes, as the initials WCCH engraved upon it show us. We must think on how best to deal with this. We do not have the time to investigate every hospital in Whitechapel. I have cut a small piece off the rope. That should be enough. A lot of fragments of black stone are wedged into this rope. Their color seems unnatural, but they are too small for me to examine them. Black and damp earth. This rope is only worn on one side. I can't do. I can see something.
Do I have a magnifying glass? Yes.
I can't. I must compare the samples of earth that I found. I must compare. And if I mixed this earth with another substance, now it must all be stirred. I can't.
What do I stir it with? Okay.
The samples of earth taken from beneath the fingernail and from the ropes originate from the same place.
How do you know?
It took just a little water to analyze the consistency. The soil has retained its moisture, even though there hasn't been rain in London for over a week.
This soil could come from the bank of a river, or somewhere where the evaporation is slower. A mine, perhaps, or a trench.
The banks of the Thames are clay soil, unlike our samples, so we can rule that out. The nearest mines are 12 miles away, so I would rule that out also. I would therefore conclude your last theory to be nearer the mark.
A trench?
A pit. This fragment of stone is very smooth, and it seems to be of a peculiar quality. I shall have to strip it with one of my products. This stone appears to be the same as those found within the rope's fibers. This stone is granite, covered in black paint. The fragments found in the rope and this piece of granite come from the same place. Watson, bring me your register of the London hospitals.
Studying the scalpel has given you an idea, then?
Indeed.
I'll get it.
I want to see if there's anything fun to interact with.
General practice. Hospitals and dispensaries in London. I have found my book, Holmes.
Good. Put it on the work table, will you?
Here is the section showing Whitechapel. I made several notations on these pages during our investigation into the Ripper, which might prove useful. All we need to do is to find a hospital or a
That's 10
public
years ago.
dispensary near a location where pits have been dug and black granite has been used.
It's simplicity itself. I haven't finished my analysis.
The rope is worn only on one side. It's used near water. The damp earth brought in by the Bishop of Knightsbridge Killers. It's from a pit. It's used for lowering something into a pit. The fragment of granite painted black. Fragment comes from a painted wall. The earth and the stone are from a pit near a monument. They all come from a grave.
I am missing some...
Okay. I think it comes from a monument. We know that the soil is from a pit. Mm. Uh, hmm.
I haven't finished my analysis.
Is there anything else? No.
I haven't finished my analysis.
Oh.
Nothing interesting.
Okay, there's some. Okay, I guess he's accusing me of doing something else. Okay, so it was used. Uh, Always used on the same side. It's from a pit. I want to say it comes from a monument. That just makes sense. The rope you use to lower something in a pit. That just, for sure, that's right. No way that isn't right.
Now I can make
Oh,
the right
shit.
decision.
The Public Dispensary number 4661. It's just opposite the Whitechapel Street Cemetery.
Yes, Watson. The murderer with the missing finger must work in the cemetery, or at least visit it. He could have taken a rope, one of the type they use to lower the coffins into the graves. The granite is minute particles of tombstone.
And he only had to cross the road to steal a scalpel from the dispensary opposite.
I need something.
Alright. Can we... Oh shit, okay. Um...
I haven't finished my...
What the fuck? Oh, okay. One of those, two of those, one of those, yep. Three of those and two of those. Two and three. Two and one. Three and three. Cool. Alrighty. A substance that provokes a heightened state of aggression close to madness. Death by cardiac arrest.
Poison. Discreet, efficient, and only detectable via a thorough post-mortem.
Have you been able to isolate the active components, Holmes?
Not with any certainty. This toxic substance surpasses my own knowledge in the field. It is without doubt the work of an expert chemist.
A chemist and a criminal.
As you say, please find my monograph on poisoners of the last 30 years.
Alrighty. Is that not the right one?
The work.
According to these documents, Hans Schielmann, known as the Rat Killer, was considered the greatest specialist in chemical poison in the world.
Is he at liberty?
Happily, no. He has been held in the high-security wing of London's Westgate prison for many years now.
Then he cannot be the one who concocted the poison.
Don't dismiss him too quickly, Watson. According to Scotland Yard, the man is exceptionally intelligent. For the greatest criminals, prison is but a mere obstacle. Let's plan a little visit to see Mr. Schielmann tomorrow.
Alrighty. How do we do that? Just walk
I
out?
cannot leave now.
Nope. Is there more to analyze?
Let us look at our deduction board, Watson.
Oh, is that what I'm supposed to do? Okay. So, Bishop nodded himself. Bishop tore his aggressive's finger off with his teeth. He went mad. That's some blood at his top. That made him drink it. Flask contains a poison that caused madness. Murders are vampires. There we go.
Perfect. Well done, Watson. Our board is finished. It confirms that the bishop's murderers work for one person, who, amongst other things, possesses a very sophisticated poison. They therefore act for someone more educated than themselves. You remember Wiggins and his gang, the Baker Street Irregulars?
Yes, the street urchins, whom you employ upon occasion, and Wiggins is their leader.
Yes. Well, I have hired their services again. I have instructed them to find out the address of the bishop's nephew.
I think he's here.
Hey there, Wiggins.
Hello, Mr. Holmes.
Wiggins, my young friend, have you found the information for which the good Dr. Watson is going to pay you?
Yes, Mr. Holmes, it was easy.
Very well, I understand. Here are a few pennies.
Thanks, Dr. Watson. The man you're looking for lives near Kensington.
Does he live alone?
Yes, but he rents a room for an old lady.
Did she see you?
No, Mr. Holmes. No one saw me.
Perfect. Watson, give our young friend another shilling as a reward for his discretion.
Here we go again. But of course... I'm falling asleep, Holmes. Aren't you tired?
No, I have an exceptional constitution. I can't remember ever having been fatigued by work. Idleness, on the other hand, exhausts me completely. Go to bed, Watson. The night will be short. We leave at dawn.
Wow, this is a real adventure. It's
Fuck
exciting.
these kids.
I like it better than made-up stories. I want to know what happens next. Keep reading. I'm going to.
Ah, I want to listen to.
My readers must excuse me if I do not describe in full detail here the terrible images which haunted me that night.
I had a sense that something extraordinary
There was no
would
point
take
in that
place,
cutscene.
but I was scarcely prepared for the reality of it. Good morning, Holmes. Did you get any rest?
I did not attempt to sleep.
Have you managed to come to any conclusions?
I think that we might follow 3 trails. We can visit Whitechapel to try to discover the identity of the murderers by making inquiries at Dispensary 4661 and at the Whitechapel Street Cemetery.
The poison trail seems more important to me. We should perhaps go to Westgate Prison first to see Hans Schielman.
Yes, and let us not forget the bishop's irascible nephew, whose address we now have, thanks to my Baker Street irregulars. I have located each place on our map of London.
Holmes, let me remind you that we still have not been officially instructed to investigate this affair.
Ah, well, we will just have to hide that small detail.
Alrighty. So, Whitechapel. I think we'll go to
Prison.
Westgate Prison. Makes the most sense.
Here we are at the famous Westgate Prison, one of the oldest and surest in the kingdom.
I've heard that it is soon going to be demolished. Don't you find it strange that it still houses criminals as dangerous as Hans Schielman?
There's nothing strange about it, Watson. The name of this prison is linked with numerous failed escape attempts. As long as it stands, the criminals will fear it.
Good morning, gentlemen. Are you expected?
No, but we wish to meet with one of your prisoners, Hans Schielman.
I'm afraid that at the moment that is impossible. Access to the cells is controlled strictly. You can't go there without permission from the director.
Then would you be so good as to announce us? I am Sherlock Holmes, and this is Dr. Watson.
The famous Holmes and Watson. What an honour. My name is Brighton. Frank Brighton. I'm afraid that I can't announce you. I'm not allowed to leave my post, under any circumstances. But I'm sure that the director won't refuse to see you, even without an appointment. Do you see the corridor behind the reception? Follow it to the secretary's office. You'll find him there.
Thank you, Warden Brighton. One last thing. Hans Schielman received any visits lately?
None. And I'm sure because I've dealt with receiving visitors for several weeks now. I volunteered because it's a calm post to be in. We don't get many visitors and it gives me time to write. Just like you, Dr. Watson. I enjoy literature and the...
Very good. Thank you.
That was very impolite, Holmes. That man admires our work. You could have given him...
Another time. Let's go and meet the director of the prison.
Alrighty.
Closed.
That's maintenance.
Closed. 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 Locked. I can feel a draft. This must be the access to the inside yard. Staff cloakroom.
The locker room. This is where the prisoners' things are kept.
Closed. Closed. Closed.
What's this music, dude?
Let us go to the secretary's office. Ahem. Good morning, miss.
Oh, excuse me, I dropped off. Good morning, gentlemen. What can I do for you?
I am Sherlock Holmes, and this is Dr. Watson. We would like to talk to the director.
I'll just go and see if he can receive you.
Tiredness, pale face, stiffness. I believe that the young lady is expecting a happy event.
It would seem so. This small rack is for urgent letters to be given immediately to the director.
This charming secretary is Miss Jenny Patterson. Hot tea.
The director's office, Mr. P. Patterson. No need to go in there. Strange. The director and the secretary have the same name.
Oh.
I'm delighted to meet you, Mr. Holmes. I am Paul Patterson, director of this establishment. You wish to talk to me? I hope this unexpected visit isn't to announce bad news.
No, do not worry. We are investigating an affair of the highest importance, one which could potentially affect the security of the kingdom. Therefore, it is imperative that we interview one of your prisoners, Hans Schielmann.
Hans, the rat killer? He's been in here for a long while now, and he's had no contact with the outside. How could he be involved in such an affair?
That is what we would like to find out.
And you have been commissioned by Scotland Yard?
Evidently.
Very well. I have complete confidence in you, Mr. Holmes. I will draw up a pass that you should give to Warden James in the guardroom. He will show you to the cells.
Thank you, Director.
Keep me informed of your progress. And if there is anything else, don't hesitate to let me know.
We shall certainly do so.
Holmes is really working outside his usual parameters here.
Miss Patterson, you have the same name as the director. Are you related?
Come, Watson. Anyone who might have made the slightest study of anthropology would have noted the similarities between the young lady
I thought
and
that
her
was the
father.
case.
Mr. Holmes is right, I am his daughter, but he doesn't like to talk about it. I think he's afraid of being accused of favoritism.
I'm sure it was your qualities alone which secured you this position, miss.
If you must try out your powers of seduction, then what do you say about using them on the rat killer? Goodbye, miss.
Goodbye, gentlemen.
Watson, is he still married? I know he was married in the last one, which it took place 10 years ago, so.
Sorry, sirs. I'm on duty. I can't help you.
I have a pass.
Sorry, sirs.
Leads to the high security area, where the most dangerous prisoners are locked up. Closed.
I have a pass.
Closed. Cleaning material. This is the entrance to the ordinary prisoner's cell. There's no point in going there.
I have a pass.
Sorry, sirs.
Oh.
You've got a pass for the high security area. It's the door at the end. Go ahead.
Alright.
My name is Peter James, Chief Warden, and this is Deputy Warden O'Sullivan.
I imagine I will find Hans Schielman behind these bars in the basement.
Yes, the high security cells are down there.
Is this the only access?
Yes, there was a second door at the end of the main hall, but it's been blocked up as a security measure.
Thank you, Chief Warden.
At your service. If you require further information, Warden Mackenzie will help you. He's at his post in the basement.
Tell me about the prisoners, Warden James.
We only have a few. As you might be aware, the days of this place are numbered. Therefore, we no longer receive new prisoners. Those who are already here are among the most dangerous in London. We have 3 at the moment. Hans the Rat Killer and the Flint Brothers.
The Flint Brothers?
Yes, 2 rather simple-minded maniacs who detest one another despite their relation. They massacred their parents and decapitated their neighbours. It took more than 9 policemen to overpower them.
I see.
Mr. Holmes, I am a huge admirer of yours. I have followed all your cases and successes with the greatest interest.
What enthusiasm. Have you ever thought of a career in the police force?
Have I thought about it? It's my dream. And I'm going to try my chance once this establishment closes down. I'm studying hard for the examination to get into police school.
See you later, Mr. Holmes.
He seems to think that this place is going down, apparently.
This device must be the alarm. It is the guard's guest book, perhaps for distinguished guests. These weapons are obviously ready to use in case of emergency.
One's missing. My man's playing chicken foot. Kinda chicken foot.
It is about the signing in book. It is potassium nitrate, isn't it?
Yes. Saltpeter or whatever.
Alright.
The guards must spend long hours here.
Yeah, this music is wacky.
Here's the famous high security area.
Warden Mackenzie, at your service, sir.
Good morning, Warden. I have a pass which allows me to speak with prisoner Hans.
Very well. It is the cell at the end to your left. I'd advise you to walk in the middle of the corridor.
Hans Schielman, I require some information from you.
So, who do we have here? The celebrated Sherlock
How the fuck do you know
Holmes
that?
himself. Do you know that for all the time I have spent rotting in here, you are my first and only visitor? I think this is cause for celebration. A confrontation between 2 geniuses, 2 extraordinary minds.
I am afraid that you are not quite as great a chemist as you believe you are, Mr. Schielman. I will not say that you never were. No, it was certainly true once. But you see, while you are whiling away your days in here, it appears that someone on the outside is at the point of surpassing you, if that is not already the case.
Yes, I heard about that. A chemical poison that eats away at the flesh and provokes hysteria. I recognize talent when I see it, but it's only a matter of time before I win back my laurels, believe me.
What can you tell me?
That depends on what you can bring to me.
What do you want?
Do you know why I am treated so harshly? For my meals, I am given nothing but a hunk of bread. And even then, not just any sort.
Get to the point.
Never interrupt me!
Oh, shit.
Where was I? Oh, yes, the bread. Did you know that with a little rye yeast, a pinch of moss, certain cockroach secretions, just enough light and damp, with a few other ingredients that I will keep quiet about, I succeeded in poisoning half the staff here. Unfortunately, a little something was omitted, which would have made the results fatal. Instead, it merely caused acute attacks of stress and powerful hallucinations. Even so, I got a great laugh out of watching them cry like babies when they saw their most primitive fears materializing before them.
You are a monster, Mr. Shieldman.
Thank you.
It wasn't a compliment.
But of course it was! You others, you ordinary, narrow-minded people, you are afraid of anything that you cannot comprehend. You call me a monster because what you find impossible to face is just the slightest fraction of my genius. If by monster you mean someone who is nothing like you, then it is a compliment.
What do you need?
Very little. Just something to write with. You see, my brain races like an engine with too many thoughts. I see them crackle and explode into thousands of formulae right in front of me. What a torture not to be able to write them down. What a hell to see them vanish just as quickly as they appear to me. Just bring me something that I can write with.
That's all. That seems an easy enough request to fulfill.
But listen, I don't want a vulgar inkwell and a pigeon's feather. No, I need material fit for my talent. I want my ink pen. Bring it to me, and I will be happy to pass on to you a little of my knowledge of modern chemistry.
Where is it?
It was confiscated upon my arrival here. I suppose it might be in my locker, in the locker room. Leave me now, and don't come back without my ink pen.
Alrighty.
See you soon, Mr. Holmes.
Warden McKay.
This device.
I'm glad to have been of...
Can you tell me where I might find the locker room?
In the corridor that leads to the director's office. That's where the prisoners' civilian stuff is held. But seeing the length of their sentences, they've little chance of ever getting it back.
Can you open the locker room for us? We would like to inspect Shieldman's personal items.
No, Mr. Holmes. I'm not responsible for that. You will find the keys in the Secretary's office.
Alrighty.
See you later, Mr. Holmes.
This information board is almost empty. Strange, in view of the activity in the prison. Miss, may we borrow the keys to the locker room?
You will need authorization from the director to open that door. If you wait a moment, then I will inform him.
We will wait, thank you.
Anything new, Mr. Holmes? Is your investigation... Mr. Holmes, have you been able to get what you wanted from our lodger?
Not yet. We must first cast light upon a crucial point, and for that we require your help again.
What can I do?
We need to examine Shieldman's civilian clothing.
Very well, but be extremely careful.
What do you mean?
In that madman's compartment, you will find a strange little coded case which refused point blank to open when he was incarcerated. We did try to force it, but without success.
Didn't you ask the experts?
Of course we did. Experts from Scotland Yard came to examine it, but they came to the conclusion that it was better that the case remained shut than tamper with it too much.
I see. They were afraid that some poison or other might escape if it was opened.
Exactly. Bear in mind that this man is an evil genius, a master poisoner, and that his poisons are never ordinary. Here's the key to the locker room. I give you the authorization to open it.
Good.
Mighty cool.
Thank you, Mr. Patterson.
Miss Patterson, the guards are still waiting for you to put up the duty list. Do it as soon as possible. Without it, the changing of the guard cannot take place. Or had you forgotten?
Oh shit.
Dry your tears, miss. I'm certain that your father didn't mean to hurt you.
Mr. Watson, I can't put up the duty list. And when he finds out, he'll be furious.
Why can't you?
It's in my locker, in the cloakroom, and I've lost the key.
Your aunt.
Say no more, Holmes. As you keep repeating, time is against us. Let's go and look at the things in the rat killer's locker.
Alrighty. I wonder if I can teleport about... Oh no, I can't. I was wondering if I could teleport about the prison. Maintenance... Okay.
Closed.
There's the cloakroom. Check room. It's the Flint brothers.
Here is the locker of our friend, Hans, the mad scientist.
Couldn't she have asked her dad for the key?
Oh, what a jump!
A
The damn
paper
thing?
knife. Blotting paper. This solid box must hold a precious object. Let us see. A poem in Hans's handwriting. Blotting paper. Blotting paper. I can't do that. I can't do that. Nothing of interest here. Nothing of interest here. Nothing of interest here. Nothing of interest.
As soon as the catastrophe came to be known, the alarm from mouth to mouth was blown, and the cry rang out all over the town, "Good heavens, the Tay Bridge is blown down." At a passenger train from Edinburgh, which filled all the people's hearts with sorrow, and made them for to turn pale, because none of the passengers were saved to tell the tale of how the disaster happened on the last Sabbath day of 1879, to be remembered for a very long time. William Topaz McGonagall. Um...
There is something interesting here. There is something... Nothing of interest. There is something interesting here. There is something interesting here. Nothing of... Nothing... I can't do that. This cannot be a simple coincidence.
I see.
I can't do that. There is something...
CABRHS. These are all chemical elements as well. BR. H. Where's H at?
Perfect.
Yeah, Cool.
What is written on that note, Holmes?
Later, Watson, later.
Oh.
We can give Hans his pen.
Okay, cool. Okay, I thought we were gonna go to sort out that girl's locker as well. Apparently not.
What a bunch of incompetents. Oh, if I was as unprofessional as that, there would be murderers running all over the town.
What's the matter? Are you a patient of Dr. Watson?
Very amusing.
I was going on about the dry cleaners in Westgate Street. They've just delivered my ceremonial uniform in the middle of my duty, when I've told them 1,000 times not to bring it until after 6 in the evening.
A ceremonial uniform? You've been promoted?
No, and that's not about to happen. No, I've been invited to a wedding. I mean, I hope to be. I'm in trouble. If the director sees that I've left my post, I'll be sacked without pay.
Give it to me, Warden Brighton. I'll take care of it for you.
Really? Thanks a lot. Here's the key to the cloakroom and that of my locker. I'm really grateful, Mr. Holmes.
What have you got in mind, Holmes? You're not doing this out of kindness, are you?
No, out of curiosity. We will be able to access the cloakroom with these keys. Miss Patterson's locker. Closed. Bicarbonate of soda. Brighton must have an upset stomach, caused by stress, without a doubt. The name on the key is Jenny Patterson. That is interesting.
Why the fuck would he have her key? That's weird.
Let us examine Miss Patterson's locker.
The lock on this box is rather sophisticated.
Incredible. Is Jenny hiding something?
Uh. So I know that I'm supposed to, like, Well, this is odd. Okay. Well, oh, it's making my fucking brain hurt. Okay, so that has to go there. Okay, there we go. There.
It's really
Yes.
very clever. Little Jenny is astonishing.
Ginny, let's get married. Never mind the consequences. Your father will have to accept the fact that we are in love. Think about the baby. Don't forget that. I love you. Never a new poem. Ginny Patterson, your heart bounds. Mine weighs a ton. I love us no bounds. It just goes on and on. It was inspired by the great Chinese poets. Chinese poets to write it. Be courageous, my honey bun.
A letter from Brighton to Jenny. Barely literate.
Apparently, Jenny is carrying Brighton's child, and it seems that Jenny's father, the director, is unaware of this.
Gin Patterson, Frank Brighton, a single heart with two souls and eternal love.
A locket, sealing the relation between Jenny and Warden Brighton. Decidedly, this boy is not a great poet.
I fucking love Carrie Shell's infliction there. Service sheet, basement guard, Warden Sullivan, reception, Warden Brighton, on-call in the guards room, Warden Mackenzie, Chief of
Here
Operations.
is the famous guard duty list. Interesting.
Can I? Oh, yep. Oh wait, I want to give her that first.
We have found the guard duty cards, miss. If you like, I can go and discreetly give them to the guards.
Oh, thank you. You've got me out of a lot of trouble, Mr. Holmes.
Do I give one to you?
Sorry, sirs.
For what reason?
Oh shit.
The door has locked itself automatically. You must enter a new security code.
Do it then.
Miss Patterson hasn't put up the guard duty list yet. Without that information, we don't know who's authorised to take note of the new code.
So Mackenzie is locked in the high security zone.
Yes, but don't worry about him. He's trained for this sort of dysfunction.
Why not ask the director to take note of the code and open the door?
He isn't allowed to, and I doubt that he would run the risk of going against the orders of the administration centre. Anyway, the bars in the high security section are joined to the alarm system, which is in that room. We only need to sound it to unblock, but you see, we can't do that now.
We'll try to find the duty list, Warden James.
We have it.
We have found Chief Warden James's duty list.
Good. Thank you, Mr. Holmes. Let's see. O'Sullivan, it's you who takes over from Mackenzie. Take note of the code, please, and unblock the door.
At once, Chief. Ah, Mr. Holmes, could I ask you for a favour?
Please do.
I think I can say on behalf of all the staff that we would be honoured if you would care to write something in our guest book.
With pleasure, O'Sullivan. You seem worn out, O'Sullivan. A good night's sleep would do you good.
A good night's sleep would do me good. You're right, Mr. Holmes.
Is something worrying you?
As you know, Westgate Prison will soon be demolished.
Oh,
And
okay.
I'm spending most of my nights studying for my exam to join the police. You understand, I have to think about my future. So sleep isn't a priority at the moment.
Scotland Yard is always looking for young, competent, and motivated men. Would a letter of recommendation from me allow you to get some sleep?
What? A letter from Mr. Sherlock Holmes recommending me for Scotland Yard? Are you quite serious?
Completely serious, my young friend. May I use this writing paper? The one on your desk.
1,000 thanks, Mr. Holmes. 1,000 thanks.
It is addressed to Inspector Baines, a good friend of mine. There's no need to remind you that it must be opened only by the person to whom it is addressed.
Yes, of course. I'll give it to him personally. Thank you again, Mr. Holmes.
Something's weird's going on with
At your
Baines.
service, Mr. Holmes.
It's all pretty sus. I think Sherlock's the imposter, guys.
Warden Mc...
There's something weird going on with this pin as well.
You have what you wanted, your precious pen.
You seem annoyed, Mr. Holmes. I would even go so far as to say terribly worried.
Why should you care, Mr. Shielman? Let's talk about that poison.
I am not talking about you in the grip of natural emotions found in ordinary people who are confronted by the inexplicable. But as for Mr. Holmes, you are embarrassed, aren't you? Are you hiding something?
That is enough, Shielman.
You have kept your word. Therefore, I will keep mine. At this moment, the poison which so interests you isn't finished yet. Its maker is encountering great difficulties in attaining the desired results.
What is the end result?
Now, Mr. Holmes, the end result of any science, as Descartes once said, to become the master and owner of nature. Here we are talking about human nature, of course. And the creator's problem isn't so much the mixture as the durability of his creation.
What do you mean?
You see, this poison was made using rare but very volatile short-living compounds, which means that it is only possible to produce small quantities, which most importantly do not keep for a long time. Conceiving such a product in a laboratory especially built for the purpose could be achieved by any good chemist. But recopying this alchemy on another scale and keeping it ready at any moment, observing the particular conservation and storing conditions that a substance of this type requires, well, that would need a genius. I doubt if the creator of this mixture would be capable.
And you would be, of course.
Of course.
Luckily, you are going to spend the rest of your life in prison.
Luck is cyclical. It always comes around again, sooner or later. As far as I am concerned, I have the feeling that the cycle is going to be very short.
Holmes, it sounds to me as though this Shielman is implying that an escape attempt will be made.
Yes, we must go and warn the director.
All right.
At your service, Mr. Holmes.
Where's Sullivan? That guy's fucking wacky. He's a little crazy.
It is out of the question that your bastard is named Patterson. Very well. You refuse to reveal the father to me? Well, then go and join him. I'm not stopping you.
I can't.
Director, you will have to postpone this small family reunion. We believe that a serious scheme is afoot. We must act without delay.
You're not thinking of...
Yes. Shielman's words leave no room for doubt. It seems that he is planning an escape attempt. We strongly advise you to search his cell.
Do you really believe that he's hiding something? Because I must make an official report and have a legitimate reason for doing a search.
Director, if this prison is still in operation, it is solely because of its reputation. Think of the consequences of an escape. It would be closed at once. And what post do you imagine would be offered to the person deemed responsible?
You're right. No one will escape from Westgate under Patterson. I will order an immediate search of Mr. Shielman's cell.
Chief Warden James reporting. The search of prisoner Hans Shielman's cell has been carried out. No suspicious items were found.
Thank you, Chief James. I feel better now. Without wishing to offend you, Mr. Holmes, I am glad that you were mistaken.
If I'm not mistaken, we've nothing more to do here. Shall we go, Holmes?
There's just one more thing for me to see, Watson.
What's that?
Mr. Holmes, sorry to interrupt you, but Miss Jenny wishes to see you alone. She is waiting for you in her office.
This, Watson.
How did you know?
Wait for me in the guard's room. I won't be long.
What an extraordinary gentleman that Sherlock Holmes is. You must have had lots of adventures with him.
Oh, yes, dozens.
Thought he was infallible, but there wasn't anything out of the way in the rat killer's cell. Could he have been mistaken?
I must admit...
Warden Brighton, in my office immediately. That's an order.
The director seems furious.
Yes. It must be important for him to order Brighton to leave his post.
I wouldn't want to be in his shoes.
Did you hear that?
Yes, that's not normal. I've never heard Flint shout like that.
But why doesn't O'Sullivan sound the alarm?
Follow me, Mackenzie. Let's go and have a look.
I'll come with you.
No, Dr. Watson, you're not allowed in. Wait for me here.
Very well.
Hey, but... the grill is blocked, Chief.
We've been locked in. And that smoke, it's coming from below. O'Sullivan! Can you hear us?
Sully, are you alive? Answer us, Sully.
What's going on? Can I help you?
Sound the alarm in the guard's room. That should unblock the door. Be quick. O'Sullivan might be in danger.
It doesn't work.
Shit.
It locked. It doesn't.
Oh fuck, what do I do?
Hey, what are you waiting for to sound the alarm, Doctor?
It's
not
impossible.
working.
It's been damaged. I'll run and warn the director.
No, Doctor. Our priority is to save O'Sullivan. Go ahead through the visitors' corridor and see if he answers your call.
Very well.
Take the keys. They're in our room.
Where's the keys at?
It doesn't work.
Useless! This door is blocked by the timer, but not the one below. Give me the keys, quickly!
How the hell did he get out?
I've got the keys, Doctor. Thank you.
Follow me, Watson. We must repair the alarm.
Watson knows that wasn't
There you are, Holmes.
O'Sullivan, right?
Follow me, Watson. We must repair the alarm. I'm going to turn on the system. Watson, you make sure of the contact.
I hope that this isn't dangerous.
Interesting. Oh, okay, I can, okay. Cool.
It works.
Perfect. It's open. Let's go down.
Be careful. From what your colleague said, the flints are out.
We are trained for this sort of situation. And we're armed.
Come and help us, Watson.
Everything is back to normal. Thank you for your help, gentlemen.
It was a pleasure.
But where is O'Sullivan?
He's no longer here. He must have gone out through the visitor's entrance.
Yes, and he must be pleased to have gotten out of the basement.
Good. We must now check all the cells. It's the procedure in case of an alarm.
We'll come and help you.
You are evidently fond of wasting time, my dear fellow. Rejoin me at the reception when you've finished.
Alright, so you're there. This guy's gonna be gone.
The grate is open. This is alarming. He's fine where he is, under the cover, still.
How can he sleep with all this noise?
I'll admit it's not normal. Perhaps the smoke has poisoned him. I had better take a look.
Be careful, Doctor. He is dangerous.
O'Sullivan!
It's impossible. He was with us only a few moments ago. Or else...
Or else it wasn't O'Sullivan.
My
Yeah,
God.
obviously it wasn't.
He's escaped. The rat killer has escaped.
Is O'Sullivan dead? I hope O'Sullivan's not fucking dead. Oh, where do we go once? Okay. Holmes.
Ah, Holmes, there you are. Hans has escaped. I fear that this inquiry is a bitter defeat for us.
Not at all, my dear fellow. Quite the contrary. Follow me.
Why the devil have you brought me behind the prison?
We have an appointment, Watson. Look who is waiting for us.
Shieldman! I'll go back and alert the guards.
Calm down. He's harmless.
But what is he doing
Holmes
here?
is at a
Why
dangerous
hasn't he run
game.
away?
Because I asked him not to.
Are you telling me that you helped him to escape?
Quite so, as he wouldn't have been able to do so alone.
But how? And why? He's a dangerous madman. Holmes, you've made me an accomplice in this escape. You owe me some explanation.
And you will have them. But my priority for the moment is to remove our new friend to a safe place. I won't be long, but I must go alone. I'll rejoin you later. Just give me your next destination.
Very well. I suppose you know what you're doing.
How could you doubt it? Here, take the notes. They will help you when you write up the account of our visit to Westgate. So, where do I find you?
Whitechapel.
The next step of our investigation should take place in the Whitechapel area.
Good. Go then, and I'll rejoin you there.
Holmes's notes regarding the way that he helped Hans Stallman to escape from prison are so extraordinary that I felt it would be better to transcribe word for word the conversation that we had afterwards regarding this matter. I felt the impatience of my friend's look, however he delayed relaying to me the details of his incredible achievement. He began by telling me about Hans Stallman's fountain pen. This is what he said. The key to the escape was actually Hans Stallman's fountain pen. I discovered a note inside Stallman's locker. I can quote it to you from memory. Whoever is smart enough to open this case should know that a couple drops of my masterpiece are mixed together with the ink inside the pen's reservoir. If you are reading this note, it means that I am in a tight spot, so understand that my special ink will be temporarily destroy the will of anyone it touches. Therefore, you have a few precious seconds during which you can shape the subject's will. If you recognize my genius, use this knowledge to get me out of the embarrassing situation that I am undoubtedly in. Shellman had left the instruction for his future escape inside a case secured by a devious combination. That way he could ensure that none of the prison staff would find it. other than a well-informed friend. Yeah, I thought the ink was would have poison or whatever in it. Understanding this, I decided to play along with him, but with a double game of my own. I would help him to escape, but I would also keep him under control by using his own creation on him. I allowed Shaman to commence the escape by giving him his pin, and then I started to advance my pawns. My first move was to persuade the director that it was necessary to search the cell. I therefore passed the ball into Shalman's court by giving him the opportunity with Warden James. He did not waste it. He coated the bars of his cell with poison ink, and Warden James, whose hands were contaminated, was under his control for a few seconds. He discreetly and quite simply ordered James to give him the keys. The ball was then back in my court. Now I had to find a way of neutralizing Warden Sullivan, who was to be the basement guard, and we discovered when we found Miss Patterson's duty sheet. I must admit that the young warden helped me enormously by asking me to sign the prison's visitor's book. Absorbed in the tale, I went over to the chronology of the events in my mind. I remarked that Holmes had already signed the visitor's book before giving Shaman his pin. He replied in the most annoyed tone, "Exactly, I had anticipated it." And it was because of that I imagined to get a step ahead in my game with Shalman. I was leading the race, and all the while he believed it to be the other way around. Shalman did not suspect that I had already used his poison, and thought that O'Sullivan being asleep was a godsend. He therefore was not suspicious about the letter of reference that he found inside the warden's pocket. Holmes then returned to the point where he had broken from his tale, to the point out to me the lack of pertinence to my remark. Oh my god. Uh, but do not put the cart before the horse, Watson. Do let me continue. So by merely touching the fresh ink upon the page in Visitor's book, O'Sullivan was under my control. I suggested a state of advanced drowsiness, but ordered him not to do anything immediately, just sufficient for him to be able to resist a siesta during his guard duty. Later, after the changing of the guard, Shalman used the keys to get himself out of the cell. He hit the sleeping O'Sullivan over the head, exchanged the prison's uniform from the warden's. Then he created a smokescreen by using the ingredients that I had given to him: sugar from Miss Patterson's tea tray, Brighton's bicarbonate of soda, potassium nitrate from the guard's room, and sulfur from a few matchbooks. He used the keys against the Flint brothers. The two ruffians leapt at each other's throats and made the very dickens of a noise. He had the diversion he needed to leave the high-security area. That is the moment where he entered the game, Watson. Thinking that you were helping O'Sullivan, you allowed Hans Shalman to help in the corridor to the annex's bars by throwing him the keys. On my side, I opened a second lot, turning the alarm on again. In light of Holmes' explanation, I began to see my actions during this episode from quite another angle. I was troubled by the way that he used me without my having any idea at the time of the duplicity of my actions. I interrupted his monologue to refer to the guards who had not realized what was happening, and who were occupied with restraining the Flint brothers. Holmes continued, "Exactly, so now there were only one obstacle in front of Shalman. Warden Bryden on the reception desk at the front of the building." I interrupted him, but it was the director who summoned him so insistently. "Holmes, you won't have me believe that he was an accomplice in this escape. Of course not." I provoked the director's rage towards Brighton. Too impatient, I could not stop myself from asking how. I discovered that Jenny Patterson and Brighton were lovers. I also knew the director did not have any idea about their affair, and that he would surely fall into a foul rage if he found out. I asked him if that was also the reason why Miss Patterson had been summoned. Yes, she knew that I opened her locket to find the guard duty list, a locker, so she knew I was aware of her affair with Brighton. She wanted to make sure that I would not say anything. I pointed out that he'd been rather unfeeling on this part and would have told the director everything, reminding him of the promise he made to the young woman. He had denied it in a somewhat hypocritical manner. I did not say anything. I simply left the letters said the urgent correspondence box in the secretary's office, knowing that they would be delivered to him a few minutes later, thereby provoking his anger. The director shouted at Brighton, who was rushed off to the secretary's office. Shalman had now nothing to stand between him and the front door. Another question leapt in my mind, and not the least important one. Why did he not simply run away once he was outside? Why did he wait? I was not disappointed by my friend's answer. "It is evident, my dear Watson, if he did not run away, then it was only thanks to that aforementioned step ahead of which I told you. He gave me enough time to write the letter of the recommendation for O'Sullivan with a poisoned pen. It was in the pocket of the uniform, and Shalman could not resist reading it when he found it. But what was written in that letter? Not very much. Just congratulations on your escape. Wait for me here." I gaped at him. And that is how the first and only escape from the most inviolable prison in the kingdom came to pass. A scenario which, without doubt, will prove to be the focus of police college studies for a long time to come, as one of the most extraordinary escapes in history of modern prison. Cool. Cool, dude. After this cutscene here... Oh, hey, it's Isaac Solomonovich.
Here we are in the heart of
Or
Whitechapel.
Abraham.
Keep an eye on your wallet, Holmes. This area is the highest for pickpockets in all of the kingdom.
That we're gonna.
Don't worry about my wallet, Watson. It would be easier to move Big Ben than to steal from me.
Hey, it's the guy
Borrow a
that sold us
shilling
food.
from you.
Amusing, Watson. Really very amusing. Can we move on to more serious matters?
I'm listening, Holmes.
Alrighty. So we are going to give it a proper save here. Oh shit. The game crashed. Okay, well, I will see you guys in the next one, and I hope you guys enjoyed the episode as much as I did. Bye-bye.